Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Threats and blackmail, and if necessary a little regime change. These are the rules which are used or in charge of this country. These are the tools used by this country in making friends and make friends and alliances. And if you disagree with what they want from you, then they will apply one of the three. Okay? Threats, blackmail, and regime change. We have an article here that talks about something like that. Yesterday friends, today's on the blacklist. This is the way it goes. That's why when you hear, oh, they have an alliance, or they are our friends, our traditional friends, there's no such a thing among countries. It's not, it's interests. I like you today because I have an interest. I got something from you. You don't give me that something, not your friend anymore. On the contrary, I might destroy you. So I'm talking about Saudi Arabia and the United States enduring friendship. Do you know what it's all about, right? Oil. If Saudi Arabia would not have oil, everything we would know about Saudi Arabia with some sandstorms or something. This article comes from Sputnik and it's from today. No, it's from yesterday. Is that correct? No, yes, from yesterday, which is the 11th of October 2022. Democratic lawmakers introduced a bill to halt U.S. arms sales to Saudis for 1 year. That means they are going to punish them for a little bit, and if they don't change the behavior like a child, then they will extend it. I'm guessing, that's why I said a year. Washington, Democratic lawmakers, Richard Blumenthal, Blumenthal, Zelensky, Shmihal, Reznikov and Yermak, and Ro Khanna, what the hell is that, introduced a bill on Tuesday that would halt all U.S. arms sales to Saudi Arabia for 1 year. Blumenthal is Jewish, so he's an Israeli. No wonder that he would like Saudi be deprived of weapons, don't you think? Don't you think it has anything to do with Israel here? No? Okay, just asking questions, okay? The same I thought, is nothing to see. Let's move on. And I'm quoting, to provide for a temporary 1 year halt to all proposed direct commercial sales and foreign military sales to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia of weaponry and munitions, the bill states. Great, good job. The suspension would include a halt to U.S. sales of ammunition, weapons, support and equipment, repair parts, and U.S. government and contractor services to provide logistical support to the Saudi government according to the legislation. The Biden administration reportedly lobbied Saudi Arabia to delay the decision in a bid to prevent gas prices from skyrocketing ahead of the U.S. midterm elections, which are less than a month away. Well, I'm sorry, see, these guys have an eye only, that's how democracy works. These guys are concerned with their election, so anything to look good, keep it for a month. False reality, keep the false reality for 1 month until I get re-elected, and then we can business as usual. That's how democracy works about elections. Now, I will mention this guy. I mentioned him before. He's a Jew, used to be a Jewish scholar, Jewish American. His name is Stefan Cohen. He was a Russian studies professor emeritus. I can remember what Princeton, whatever he was in university. He died about 2 years ago or something like that. And I admired that person for his knowledge, for his way of thinking, and for his gentlemanly behavior. That was a very respectable person. Just watch him, Stephen Cohen. All right, so he was a scholar in Russian studies. He was smart and whatever, everything, knowledgeable. So he said in one of the interviews, where one of the weasels who tried to attack him always, he said that United States is making a foreign policy for United States is usually dictated by 5 years, 4 years, 2 years, is dictated by elections, whereas Russia's foreign policy is dictated by centuries. They think in centuries. United States thinks about the next election. This is another example. They are okay with the Saudis doing what they're doing, but wait 1 month until the elections are done. After the elections, it doesn't matter what you do, they're public and they're fucked or something. It doesn't matter as long as I'm elected. Basically, that's what it is. Well, just fuck us after next month and we'll be okay. Until then, please don't do it. Well, they didn't want to do it. Look what happens. With the whole force of the United States, this party or the leadership will use against Saudi Arabia because those guys now want to help them win elections. Created a bad problem here for these guys. That's democracy, mass democracy for weasels who love it so much. I like democracy, but it should be an intelligent way of democracy. And I made my point not only in my book, but it's also that I published, but also in my previous videos. So, the suspension would include a halt to U.S. sales. Okay. Ammunition, weapons. The Biden administration reportedly lobbied Saudi Arabia to delay the decision in a bid to prevent gas prices from skyrocketing again ahead of the U.S. midterm elections. Alright, Saudi Arabia decision to back recent OPEC Plus cuts not meant to harm U.S. Foreign Minister. Doesn't matter, you're gonna be hurt. Earlier on Tuesday, White House spokesperson John Kirby, or Weasel, said President Joe Biden is mostly dead, will reevaluate U.S. relations with Saudi Arabia after the Saudi-led OPEC Plus group of countries recently decided to cut oil production. Kirby added that Biden is willing to discuss this issue with members of Congress. On Wednesday, OPEC Plus announced that it agreed to cut oil production by 2 million barrels per day from November and will cut production levels agreed for August as a reference point. The move was made in response to uncertainty in global oil markets outlook, in part caused by the Western sanctions. Remember, this is Sputnik, but without the sanctions, oil would not have been disrupted. In part caused by West sanctions on Russia's energy deliveries and the G7 plans to introduce a price cap on Russian crude. That's totally correct. The Westerners would say no because Russia's invasions. The Russian says no, it's because these guys placed in sanctions and they're going to put up cap. They are the one who actually intervened and they destroyed the normal course of supply and demand. Not us. We could have dealt with the Ukrainians on a negotiation table, but it was Zimbabwe across the Atlantic who introduced itself again since what, 2000, when was that? Maybe 1991, let's put it straight. The decision from OPEC Plus received backlash from the United States, which demanded an increase in production to combat raising domestic gasoline prices. Well, you know, United States does not negotiate anymore. It hasn't been for the past 30 years. After the fall of the Soviet Union, they thought, and they were the biggest guy with the biggest guns in the parking lot, but the problem that it was kind of like intoxicated, and being intoxicated with the guns, that's not a good deal, okay? And everybody was afraid because they didn't know who the next one would be with this guy. Hey, who's this? And then now there's some guys with guns as well and counter this guy, and this guy forgot, doesn't know how to negotiate, doesn't know diplomacy anymore, lost it. He got Kirby, he's got Blinken, he's got Biden, he's got Kamala. All these are mediocrities at best. Biden is mostly dead. Okay, let's put it straight. Kamala, that's the way she is, below 86. Look at her, listen to her. And then the other one's the same. Listen to them. So what do you want? What do you think they know? Like a cave person, caveman's brain. You know, the lizard brain. Punch, hit, threaten, scream, something, you know. As I said, blackmail and threats and regime change. That's all they know. They can't, hey, wait a second, maybe we have something to... No, because they know they're used with this, like the lion. The lion does not negotiate, just comes and gets the prey. But look at the fox. You left a little bit, I'm gonna get a little bit, he comes back, I'm gonna move back. Why? Because it doesn't have that, but it has this. It has to develop this more than because it doesn't have this. The lion doesn't have to develop this because it got this. So the same with the United States. Lost the ability to negotiate. What can I do? That's what it is. And they are on my team. I'm on their team. And look what they do. I mean, if you go like this, you can go to the maximum. Why don't you go and invade Saudi Arabia and get their goddamn oil? And we're going to have happiness here. But it's coming. Not that. They will make a regime change. I am 99% certain that's already taken out of the file and it's already studied in a group and they're discussing what are the options. Do you think they're going to stop with these little sanctions? They're going to let Saudi Arabia just get away with the oil? Do you think it's 1978, 99 when something, the embargo or something in the 70s? Nah, things changed. Things changed. Well, thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.